They said the town river was useless. It didn't move ships, it didn't feed factories, it just flowed slowly, day after day. People passed by in a hurry, cursing the traffic, the bills, the lack of chances. Only one person seemed to like that river, an old man with white hair and calm eyes, who sat on the same stone every afternoon, repeating the same strange phrase to anyone who could hear, "You will get what you want." Most laughed, some ignored him, others recorded him on their phones and joked online. But one day, when life was particularly heavy, a young man named David stopped. David's world was falling apart. His father had died, his mother was ill, and the small shop they owned was drowning in debt. Every job interview ended with a "we'll call you." Every attempt to start something collapsed in a week. He was tired of trying, tired of failing, tired of hearing that everything takes time from people who already had what he was desperately chasing. So when he heard the old man say, "You will get what you want," David exploded. "Really?" he snapped. "Can you give me what I want now? Because I'm tired of waiting. I want to be rich. I want to get my family out of this hole. Can you do that? Or are you just saying pretty words to pass the time?" The old man didn't get offended. He looked at David as if he had been waiting for him. "Yes," he said simply, "you can get what you want, and I can give you the greatest treasures you'll ever own. But there's one condition. You must believe in what I'm about to place in your hands and use it." David laughed, half angry, half desperate. "Fine, what are you going to give me? A secret? A shortcut? Some magic formula?" The old man extended his right hand and asked for David's open palm. "This," he said, closing his wrinkled fingers over David's hand, "is the greatest diamond in the world. Its name is time. With it, you can carve every other diamond you dream of: money, skills, respect, freedom. But once you waste it, you never get it back." Then he took David's other hand, "And here," he whispered, "is the most precious pearl in existence. Its name is patience. When your effort doesn't bring results, when doors close, when everything seems to go wrong, this pearl will keep you from throwing away the diamond. Whoever holds on to patience conquers." David pulled his hands back, frustrated. "So that's it? Time and patience, that's your big secret? I already have time, and patience is just an excuse people use to accept a miserable life." The old man's gaze hardened for the first time. "No," he said, "you don't have time. You only have days that you treat as if they were worthless. And patience is not an excuse. It is the discipline to keep rowing when you don't see land yet. Go home, David. Tomorrow, choose one direction. Use your diamond. Guard your pearl. Then come back and tell me if nothing changes." That night, sleep didn't come easily. The shop's accounts were still bleeding red. His mother still coughed in the next room. Nothing had magically improved. Yet the old man's words echoed like an inconvenient truth. You don't have time. You only have days that you treat as worthless. The next morning, instead of sending random resumes, David chose a single path. He had always admired the jewelry shops in the city, the sparkle of gems, the confidence of those who sold them. It felt impossible, but the thought wouldn't leave his mind. If I want to be rich, I need to learn the trade of value. He went to the largest jewelry store he knew and asked for a job. They laughed in his face the first time. Second time, they told him there were no positions. On the third visit, the manager sighed and said, "Fine, you can help in the back. No salary for now. If you last a month, we'll talk." It wasn't the miracle he hoped for, but it was a door, a small, stubborn door. Days turned into weeks. David cleaned floors, carried boxes, organized inventory. Nobody called him partner or future boss. He was invisible. At night, he returned to the shop, exhausted, to help his mother cut expenses and juggle debts. Many times he wanted to spit in the old man's face and scream, "Your diamond is worthless. Your pearl is a lie." But whenever he reached the river on his way home, the old man was there, calm, watching the water. "Still using your diamond?" he would ask. "Yes," David would answer through gritted teeth. "And the pearl?" "Cracked, but still in my pocket." Months passed. Slowly, something began to shift. The master jeweler noticed that David asked questions no one else bothered to ask. He learned to distinguish stones, metals, quality fakes. While others complained about long days, David was studying the details. When sales were low and everyone panicked, he stayed focused, greeting each client as if they were the opportunity of the year. Then came the storm. A crisis hit the country. Luxury sales plummeted. Many stores closed. The jewelry where David worked announced layoffs. The youngest, the newest, the least necessary would go first. David's name was on the list. The day he received the news, he walked to the river like a man defeated. His hands were empty again. No job. Debts still there. Mother still sick. Time spent. Patience shredded. He sat beside the old man, feeling the cold of reality biting into his bones. "I did everything," he said. "I worked hard. I learned. I waited. And look at me now, worse than before. Your treasures don't work." The old man didn't answer immediately. He simply pointed to the river. "What do you see?" he asked. "Water," David muttered. "Look again." David stared. The surface was restless, disturbed by the wind. Currents collided, leaves spun in circles, pieces of wood bumped into each other. It seemed chaotic, but underneath, the river continued moving in one direction, always forward, always toward the sea. "Storms shake the surface," the old man said softly, "but the river doesn't forget where it's going. You treated this job as your destination. It was only a bridge. What did you gain there?" "Knowledge," David admitted. "Contacts. Understanding of how the business works." "And you gained something else," the old man added. "Proof that you can wake up and use your day instead of letting it die. Proof that your diamond and your pearl are real. Now, use them again. This time, not to serve someone else's dream, but to build your own." The idea seemed absurd. Start a business without money? In a crisis? With debts? Yet something inside him refused to die. He knew how to find quality stones at fairs for lower prices. He knew clients who trusted his eye. He knew what made people feel special when buying a simple piece. So he started small, very small. He bought a few cheap pieces on credit, took photos with his old phone, and began selling them online. Delivery was by bus, by foot, by borrowed bicycle. He reused packages, negotiated every cent, answered messages at dawn. Sometimes a whole week passed with only one sale, sometimes none. That's when the real battle began, not against the market, but against impatience. "Maybe I should quit. This is taking too long. I'm wasting my time." Each thought was a wave hitting the surface, but every time he wanted to give up, he remembered the river. He remembered the old hands closing over his, naming invisible treasures. He remembered being laid off and discovering he was still standing. "Time is my diamond," he repeated to himself. "Patience is my pearl. My job is effort." Months turned into a year. His online sales grew. A client recommended him to another, who recommended him to another. Little by little, he stopped drowning and began to breathe. He paid part of the debts. He bought better pieces. He opened a tiny physical space, almost a hole in the wall, but it was his. He hired one assistant, then two. Years later, David stood in front of a bright, elegant showroom with his name on the facade. He had become one of the most respected merchants in the region, known not only for his jewels, but for his integrity and calm under pressure. Reporters asked about his secret. Competitors talked about his luck. On a quiet afternoon, he went back to the river. The old man's stone was empty. David sat down, placed his hands on his own knees, and whispered into the wind, more to himself than to anyone else. "You were right. Time is the greatest diamond. Patience is the rarest pearl. When the world shouted, Give up. They were the only reason I kept going. The river kept flowing, indifferent to applause or complaints. In life, storms will shake the surface. Crises, layoffs, rejections, delays, disappointments. You can curse the waves, or you can be like the river, moving forward quietly with direction. Time and patience won't do the work for you, but they will turn every step, even the painful ones, into part of the path. You will get what you want, not because the world owes you anything, but because you learn to guard your diamond, protect your pearl, and keep rowing when others let go of the oars. Be the calm in the storm. Success is simple, but never easy. Time plus patience plus constant effort.